So I played tennis growing up, but besides tennis, basketball is my favorite sport. I am a huge Indiana Pacers fan, and I mean, here they go. The ABA Pacers, so much history. Kenan Kamwana Holley, award-winning director. Talk to us about this documentary you're involved in.
This is like a great opportunity for me, who's a sports nerd, Trevor, to find out something I didn't know. I'm probably like you, man, where there's very few sports stories, but I've never heard an inkling of them. The ABA is one of those things I thought I knew about, but didn't know about at all. So this has been a pleasure, man, just to get to jump into the deep waters of sports of a new sports story that's coming from 50 years ago.
This sports story, it's called Soul Power, The Legend of American Basketball Association, which is the ABA. I mean, I was under the assumption, which I learned so much watching this. I thought, oh, the ABA preceded the NBA, but that is not the case. The NBA happened then. It was kind of separation. What else did you kind of learn about this league?
That they played against each other. I didn't know that. The players, when we interviewed them, were saying, we're as good as the NBA. We're as good as the NBA. And I'm kind of like, I'm like, yeah, all right. Like, I had that initial attitude, like, no, we played them. I thought they meant like, oh, in Summer League, you guys play pickup. They're like, no, our team, the Kentucky Colonels, played the New York Knicks. I was like, really? It's like every summer we would play them and we beat them. That was the biggest revelation, that the ABA was so full of talent by the 1970 season, 1971, that they were better than the NBA overall. You can look at the stats from those games, those last 2 years of the league, that they beat the NBA more than the NBA beat them, and that blew me away.
And I found it so interesting in this first episode. It's not really a spoiler. Audiences will know. They were saying how horse racing would beat NBA ratings. But then the ABA comes along and just transforms the game, introduces the three-point shot. I mean, people like Indiana Pacers legend Reggie Miller would not be who he was without introduction of the ABA. What was talking to all these legends like to get their take on the ABA?
A couple of things. One, the love they had for each other. Like they had so much love for the Brotherhood. We went to Indianapolis and we met with Bob Nedelicki and we met with Freddie Lewis, and we met with all these guys who were incredible players. And thankfully, Big George was still alive then, and George McGinnis was alive. We sat there and talked with him, and they had so much love for each other. You can see it, like the Brotherhood. They said we were up against it. No one believed in us, not the media, not the press, not the NBA. Most of us got to the ABA because we were somehow being dissed by the other league or had some kind of trouble or something. So we loved each other, and that revelation that these guys had never had this cultural mix before. It didn't exist in America when they came together, as far as black dudes and white dudes playing together on this level, on this scale. And Coach George Karl summed it up. He said, we got to know each other. First, we were feeling each other out. It became little friendships that became family. And that was the biggest revelation of talking to these guys, is just the brotherhood and the love they have for each other and the respect. A guy like Dr. J, who has so much success, that he loves the ABA.
The game has just been so transformed because of that league. We're celebrating 50th anniversary of the ABA during Black History Month. I mean, such a perfect time for this to come out. Talk about that legacy that this league has left.
Yeah, you said the 3-point line, bam, they did that. The slam dunk contest, boom, they did that. The legacy of playing fast. The way we see the NBA now, we don't realize that. Like you said, when the NBA was getting beaten ratings by horse racing, it's because the game sucked. It was so slow. The dudes were big and unathletic. Like everything that we love about basketball was not it's not on the screen if you look at 1966 NBA. But the ABA brought that. It's funny, there's a moment in Brooklyn with Common, the first time we filmed with Common, when he came to see his father's team, the Denver Rockets, play for the first time. We had footage he had never seen before. And the first thing he said, Trevor, was like, okay. He's like, these cats got a little flow to their game. They got a little bit of speed. Like, it's different. I said, I didn't know guys played like that back then. Neither did I. Neither did I before I saw this film. But you can see in the DNA of the way that the American Basketball Association played, you could see the modern NBA today.
Well, I mean, you just segued so perfectly into my next question. Having Common involved as the narrator, getting him involved, I mean, Grammy winner, Oscar winner, what was his involvement like working with him?
It was great. I'm nerding now. As a kid, I like his music. I'm like, oh shit, Common just walked in. Oh my god! Like, I'm trying not to be trying not to get fanboy. I'm trying to be like, yeah, okay, we got to work here. But it was good because his father, was a player in the ABA, and most people don't know that his dad played in the league. And that legacy of him wanting to know more, we all want to know more about our fathers. We all want to be revealed to some aspect we don't know about our dad, particularly when they were younger like us. And so to have him get to look at the programs he'd never seen of his father, to get to watch the footage of his father's teammates for the first time, you could see it resonating with him. And just as a person, just as someone being able to give that opportunity to another person, that was a beautiful thing to watch and get to connect with it. He's such a soulful person that he actually named the film he named the series without realizing he did. He named the series, Trevor, just in his talking with us, and he and I were going back and forth. He started talking about the power of an individual's soul. And that became the mantra for the crew for the rest of the production, was like, if this story is about the power of your soul versus the powers that be, the power of your soul versus the powers that be. And just saying that, we say that each week, and that turned into the title of the series, Soul Power.
So interesting to see that. I go to Pacers games. I used to go to all the games with my dad growing up, and I go to a few now here and there. I mean, last year they made that great title run. Unfortunately, it ended in Game 7. But you look on the rafters at Gamebridge Fieldhouse, and you see these ABA banners. Like, they've never won an NBA championship, but they have ABA banners as well. I mean, talk about that Indiana Pacers connection the audiences can look forward to in this series.
Yeah, I love to talk about this because one of the things that came through was when we spoke to Larry Brown. All he could talk about, he was the coach of the Denver Nuggets in the ABA. All he could talk about was the Indiana Pacers. When we spoke to Willie Wise, he's a great two-way player. All he could talk about was the Indiana Pacers. We talked to George Gervin. All he could talk about was the Pacers. And they all said the same thing. They're a dynasty, a brotherhood. The way they flowed on the court, the way they played together, it was just beautiful to see. I didn't know this. I didn't know the Pacers were that great. They are the team of the ABA. They're the team of the ABA, and they have players that I'd never heard of. Particularly, I'm just going to name one. I got to say this guy's name, Roger Brown. I never heard of Roger Brown ever. This guy was like a two guard, a three, small forward who could handle, who was silky smooth. Like, his game was so beautiful. And he's a player I'd never heard of, but he led that Pacers team to championships. And they told a story, the players would tell a story about, he was not very vocal. The only time he talked was in the NBA Finals. I mean, the ABA Finals. The only time he ever talked in the locker room. They said he'd walk around the locker room to each one of the players and he'd dap them up before each finals games. He'd be like, and I'm just, you got to bleep me out here, but this is what he said. His exact quote, he'd dap them up and say, hey, don't f my money up. Don't f my money up. Don't. To everybody. The only time he talked, and he'd go out there and perform every time.
Having that quote, we can definitely bleep it out because it's so worth it to hear that mentioned from him. I mean, this show, though, people can watch it not even being sports fans. They can learn so much about this history that is so important in sports culture. What do you hope audiences take away from this, whether they're basketball fans or whether they're not basketball fans?
For the hoops heads, I wanted to take away these guys changed the game. That the way they played is the way we see it now, and this is the guys who did it. That's what I want the basketball guys to fall in love with. For all of us, though, who are not necessarily basketball fans, I want them to see that. Notice that these dudes, who were just young guys at the time, changed sports history forever because of two things. One, they had extreme talent and dedication. Like, what they had was gold, and they knew it. But two, it's the brotherhood, the community. I feel like we're hurting for that these days because it's the way life is these days, especially young people. These guys had a community. They had their ability, but because they linked together, because they were able to form a bond and work together for the group good, that they were able to change something, change institutions, create player empowerment, create actual change that made a difference that lasts to this day. And that community part is very subtly in there as you're watching, Trevor, and I want people to grasp that, even just in their subconscious, that there's a power when it comes to like-minded folks coming together.
Change is so important, and that is so evident in Soul Power, the Legend of American Basketball Association. On Prime Video, February 12th, you can watch all 4 episodes. Thank you so much for your time. Amazing work as always.
Yeah, thank you, Trevor. I appreciate it, man.